Hey everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Chain Arena. I know everyone here knows about the Venus flytrap. It's a pretty standard carnivorous plant, and it's been exaggerated in all sorts of different ways in movies and television. Well, there's other carnivorous plants, and a whole bunch of weird, poisonous, deadly, diarrhea-inducing foliage that I put together on today's list of top 10 scary plants that actually exist. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook because there's a lot of great content on there and you can get to know myself and the other hosts just a little bit better. And guys, also come out and check our new channel tier list. We're gonna be ranking all of your favorite stuff from anime shows to hot sauces. It's a super cool channel. Please, 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 please come check it out. There's a link right over here. You can see it. All right. Now, let's get into the list. Number 10, Acetea pachypoda. We're starting off today's list with something that looks like it was pulled out of a Tim Burton movie. This creepy thing goes by the name of baneberry, or also doll's eyes, and it gets its name for a good reason. This plant sticks out. The stems look like they were soaked in blood. It's so red and so vibrant, it looks like if you pulled one of these things out of the ground, it would be attached to a dead person with the veins coming right into the plant. And like most things in nature, if it's super bright, you should stay away. If for whatever reason you wanted to try one of these eyeball looking berries, you wouldn't make it very far. Ingesting one of these bad boys can lead to cardiac arrest. It literally gives you a heart attack. I thought berries were supposed to be like good for you or something. You go out for a hike, you see some fruit growing in the wild, and you think, wow, there's some non-GMO organic wild berries. I should try them. Next thing you know, your heart explodes in your chest, and you got baneberries growing out of your eye sockets. That's why you should stay home and watch more Most Amazing Top 10. Number 9, Wolfsbane. If you're into fantasy books or movies, you might know Wolfsbane as the cure for becoming a werewolf. And that's because way back in the day, in the olden times when people thought the earth was flat and you could cure depression with leeches, people actually used to use Wolfsbane as a way to cure becoming a vampire. But the problem with trying to cure someone's upcoming werewolf episode with Wolfsbane is that werewolves don't exist and Wolfsbane is extremely poisonous. You don't even have to eat it for it to kill you. You can die just from touching it, and your death won't be a pretty one. First, you're gonna feel an intense pain in your stomach and puke. Then, you're gonna poop your pants, and not long after that, you're gonna be paralyzed as the neurotoxin starts to take hold. It will infect your brain more and more until your heart stops working, and then you're done for. But on the bright side, it's pretty. It's like me, beautiful to look at, but don't get too close or I'll ruin your life. Number 8, Amorphophallus titanum. What's taller than your average man and also stinks like rotting flesh? Well, it sounds like most of the roommates I've had. But it's also a giant rainforest dweller that is nicknamed the corpse flower. This is a flower that you couldn't miss even if you tried. You can clock it at over 10 feet tall and it smells so bad it might make you puke. It's made its home in the rainforest and spreads its seed by attracting insects that snatch up pollen and spread it all around. From what I understand, this plant isn't going to kill you on the spot like Wolfsbane, but it gets most of its protection from smelling like a fermented gym bag. That's a good note to take on how to protect yourself. If I'm ever going through a bad neighborhood, I'm gonna just start eating an entire pack of Kraft single slices. I'll have those farts that you know smell bad just based on how hot they are. I call those ones humid dairy. Number 7, Carina bloom. If you've ever been driving down the highway and you see a car on the side of the road that has a sign that says cheap lobster and you think to yourself, wow, I must be the luckiest guy in the world. I love lobster and this guy's selling it for cheap right out of his van? God bless. Well, the fact is you shouldn't buy roadside shellfish even if the guy seems super cool because there's a chance it could have been contaminated with red tide and it's just a really bad idea. Red tide, or the Carina bloom, is when a bunch of Karens sprout out of the beach and ask to see the fish manager. Actually, it's a type of plankton that has a red coloration. When it blooms, it sucks up all the oxygen in the water and turns the water red and produces a ton of toxins. If you're swimming in the water during this time or eat any seafood that has come in contact with the red tide, it can kill you or cause paralysis. And if you don't like going in the water or you don't like eating shellfish, you should be fine, right? Don't need to worry. Actually, there have been cases of people getting sick from red tide miles off the shore because the toxins get picked up in the air. Nobody is safe. Number 6, the manchiel tree. The trees have finally had enough and they're starting to fight back. The manchiel tree grows all over Central and South America, and at first glance it seems very harmless. It produces nice little apples. I mean, like, everyone likes apples, except doctors, of course. If you ever want to kill a doctor, you need to stab an apple right through his heart. But these wooden wonders contain a sap which is deadly. It will burn the hell out of your skin. If for whatever reason you're caught under one of these trees during a rainstorm, the water dripping off the tree will cause your skin to blister, or you can have a massive rash breakout. And you don't ever want to use one of these things for firewood. If you burn it, the smoke could make you go blind. Also, tribes that would have the tree grow natively in their area would sometimes tie prisoners to the base of the tree to give them an extremely slow and terrible death. Oh my god, that's like the worst kind of torture. Number 5, giant hogweed. This sounds like something you would get at a dispensary in Denver. Yeah, give me some of that purple kush and I'll take 1 ounce of the giant hogweed. However, if you were to smoke this thing, you would be super dead, and then your family would have to divide up all your purple kush. The giant hogweed lives up to its name and can grow up to 20 feet high. You won't find it on this side of the world though, as it really only grows in Central Asia. And if you do find it, don't try to plant it in your garden. This plant is super invasive and it will take over everything. It's so invasive that it's outlawed in many countries. Now, why is this towering shrub on our list? Because if you get too close to it and get some of the sap on your skin, it can cause irritation. And then if the sap comes in contact with sunlight, it kickstarts the sap like Superman and it will start burning the hell out of you. If left untreated, it can burn your skin for up to 48 hours straight, leaving terrible scarring. 48 hours of non-stop burning. Number 4, Nepenthes attenboroughi. I probably said that wrong. Good thing I'm not a little mouse running around, because I think life would be less like Stuart Little and more like a slow, painful digestion in the Sarlacc pit. Better known as the pitcher plant, this is one of the world's few carnivorous plants, and it feeds on all sorts of small animals. If you were to cut one of them open, I'm sure you could find a little skeleton of Ratatouille still clutching a recipe book. It only grows in the Philippines, so unless you live there and have a bunch of pet rodents, I wouldn't worry about it. The plant clearly is the inspiration for the Pokemon Victreebel. The only thing missing from it is those teeth and the blood-curdling scream the Pokemon makes. Number 3, white snake root. White snake root sounds like a band from the 80s that would rock out with songs about cocaine and having sex while high on cocaine. Sadly, this plant wasn't named white snake root because when you smell it, it makes you feel like you're on tour with Motley Crue, drinking top shelf booze you could never afford. This thing just kills you. Man, what does a guy need to do to have fun? Well, this one is interesting because it kills more people by accident than from people actually ingesting the plant. White snake root has a toxin that is deadly to people, and if cows eat it, it can get into their meat and milk. Anyone who eats or drinks the infected products will die from that. Damn, dude, you can't even have milk and cookies anymore. Number 2, the suicide plant. Yes, a pretty name for a pretty plant. This one is serious. If you ever see one of these things in the wild, stay far, far away. When I first saw the name, I thought it was called the suicide plant because if you eat it, you would get some sort of toxin that makes you go crazy and want to kill yourself. But no, this is even worse. The suicide plant grows in the rainforest of northern Australia, and it has these little edible fruits on it. But if you want to try to pick one, you better have a suit of armor on. If you come in contact with the leaves of the suicide plant, it will inject you with a toxin that is so painful people have killed themselves just to make the pain stop. It has killed horses and other large animals, and there's a legend of an army officer who accidentally used one of the leaves as toilet paper, and then he later shot himself to escape the pain. The burning sensation that this plant offers has been described as getting acid poured on your skin while being electrocuted. The worst. Number 1. Angel trumpets. This is definitely a psychedelic plant that you want to steer clear of. The angel trumpet contains an extremely dangerous neurotoxin that, if ingested, will cause you to go straight up crazy. You can have hallucinations, sexual excitement, or even become extremely violent. There have been cases of self-harm, one in particular where an 18-year-old boy made tea with the flower and then cut off his own penis. The American government has been telling us for years not to smoke weed and how bad it is for you, but I never heard them saying anything about not smoking this drug so you don't cut off your own junk. Oh my god. Well everyone, that's our list. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, make sure you follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook. There's a bunch more content over there, and you can get to know myself and the other hosts just a little bit better. Until next time, I've been Chade Arena, and I think I'm going to be sticking to meat and bread for my diet from now on.